Hey, I'm Jason Perry. I'm here with Mountain State Elite Volleyball Club. Nick Meadows here. He's the president, founder of the club. He's got a little jolly green beard here going on. We want to see what's really the point of the beard here. I'm going to let him say why he's got the green beard, because he's been questioned today about it.
This is kind of rough timing. I drive a school bus and I have elementary kids, and this week is Spirit Week, and I try to do stuff for them during Spirit Week, and they get a kick out of it. And as soon as this week's over, it's going to be shaved. But it was Grinch versus Santa Claus, so this is kind of how it went. So
We got that out of the way. So I mean, everybody's asked that. You know, it's normal. Everybody knows it's not your norm. You like to spice things up for the kids, so that's a good thing. So,
yeah.
Anyway, get to the point here. Mountain State Elite, your second, I guess, season.
Yeah, we've grown a lot this year. We've grown a lot.
You went from one team to three teams, which is good. So that means you're building, and that's what we're here for. What you're here for. So just tell people what inspired you to start the club. You know, just let people know what inspired you to get the club going.
Well, it's a short story that's a long story, so I want to kind of go in the middle.
We might want to do the short version.
Okay, short version.
Yeah, because you know.
I had a photography business. I've done photography since I was in high school, and I graduated. I got into sports photography. I was taking photos at different colleges and different sporting events. That got me closer to different coaches, especially in the sport of volleyball. When I started doing photography for volleyball, I wanted to get more into the game, because the more you know a game, the better you can take photos of the game. So I started working with coaches, and one thing led to another. A few years later, I was doing some middle school volleyball games, and some parents walked up to me, and their kid wanted to play club. They couldn't necessarily afford the cost of the clubs, and I was trying to make a place for more people to get introduced and have a lower ceiling. I mean, typically kids that get recruited from travel, and it's not really from your high school.
Yeah.
And I understand why recruiters do that, but it's not fair for those that can't.
No, I'm not cutting you short there. I mean, I know a little bit about travel, not the volleyball portion. I mean, I had a son that played travel ball. Obviously, as a coach, I mean, any coach, would you rather go watch 40 teams play or 2 teams play? Obviously, you want to spend your day, you can watch 40 teams play. Is there kids out there that's probably just as good or better that's not playing travel? Yes, I've seen it in other sports, but you know, the cost is up there, and you can relate a little bit, and you're trying to keep that to where everybody can have a chance. Yeah, so you can explain some of that.
Of course, I have to have a fee. I mean, you can't do anything without fees. Tournaments, everything costs. But I do everything I can to lower it to the lowest point possible. We have sponsors to also lower the cost. Every single penny that goes into the club is going towards the kids. Nobody's making money here.
Right, you're nonprofit.
Yeah. We're a nonprofit organization. We got that finally filed and finished last year. We like to cater meals at tournaments, so we try to do that as much as we can, and just little things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure the kids like that, family likes that. You know, it helps everybody out. Like I said, when I'm down the road, it's a cost. Obviously, nothing's cheap anymore.
Uniforms, travel, just everything.
Everything's involved. It's just, it is what it is. So, you know, so you're the founder. You know, your club's building. You went, like you said, you went from one team, which is 14U, and all your kids wasn't even at that age. Yeah. So you know, you had some younger ones. You know, they're thrown in the fire, and sometimes you know that builds character and makes them better playing against older kids.
It does.
This year, you got a 13U team, 14U team,
and a
16U team, which has some younger players on that as well, and you know they're good caliber that can compete.
Yes.
So, and that's what you want. You want to be able to compete. You don't want to go to tournament and get hammered everywhere. So you want to be able to compete. You know, is everybody going to win them all? No one's going to win all the games, but you're there to compete. So, you know, just let everybody know what kind of areas your clubs go to. Does your teams, all of them go to the same places, or how's your organization ran?
That's a good question. all of our practices right now are out of Huntington and Ashland. We may have some more facilities pop up. We're working towards building our own facility, but that takes time, of course. So we haven't quite got to that point. But we're working with different organizations and trying to get as many courts as possible. Tournament-wise, we go to like Sandusky, we go to Lexington, Louisville, Toledo. We're in the Pioneer region of USAV. We also participate in some Ohio Valley region tournaments, like Spike Fest here in Huntington. I think it's always good to have a tournament in Huntington where most of these families are from around, because you have grandparents, great-grandparents, cousins. It doesn't always get to see what kids play. And unless you do something like that, you're never gonna get there. So that's why I do that.
Right, that makes sense. It's hard. I mean, obviously everybody would like to go watch. It's just, it's just not feasible and economy-wise. 5 hours, 4 hours, whatever, every weekend. Everybody can't do it, but everybody tries to do what they can. So.
And the big thing I like to focus on tournaments is I want to be in tournaments where there's multiple teams. I don't want to go to a tournament that only has 5 teams, because you're not going to learn a lot from that. So we do go in some tougher tournaments with more teams, but we see different teams every weekend because of that. And even if the record isn't the best at the end of the year, I'm not saying it's terrible, but even if it's not the best, the kids have seen enough to improve in themselves and make their game to a higher level, and I think that's what's important.
Yeah, like I said, I can only go back to some of the travel sports that I went to. I've seen teams that's pretty loaded in talent enter what I consider weaker tournaments, just so that they can say they won or something. To me, if you're not playing against the tougher competition or your caliber that you really should be, to me, I don't feel like that really, in my opinion, and should count. So I'm not going to load up a mega team and go play these little weak tournaments and pound teams in the ground. That's not teaching either team anything. It's not teaching your team to have to earn something, work hard for something, and that's not teaching the other team that doesn't have the skill. They're just going to pound it. So that's just a thought. That some organizations do, and
it makes it tougher to get the right eyes on you. Your record doesn't mean as much.
No.
It's a lot of things. Now, I'm not saying we can't win every tournament I'm in.
Right.
We definitely can. It's just
you want to be competitive.
We make sure we're in tougher tournaments. There's a few easier ones, but most of them there's going to be 40 to 60 teams per age group. So it's a huge tournament.
Right. So that's what you go for. You go and you want to play the best. So you don't want somebody to say, well, you won this because you was playing a weaker tournament. You don't want to go that. You want, if you win, you want to say, hey, I earned it. So that's what, to me, that's what competition is. Yeah, we're going to go in with the coaching part. Like I said, he's your 16U coach.
Season starting.
This is right at the beginning here. This is his second season with the organization. He went from 14U last year. Now he's at 16U this year. So going into that, you got a few players coming back that played on your 14U, which they're still younger than the 16, but they're capable.
They're at that 15, 16 range.
Yeah, so at that level, your high school level, the age is not a huge big deal, because you got freshmen that can play against seniors and all that. To me, when they get to that age, talent, if you got the talent, it don't matter how old you are, the talent rises above. So that's just how it is. So you have 3 what we call returning players from your 14 team going on to your 16 team. So, like I said, your second year, you're doing your 16U team. So what's your competitive expectations going in to this season?
I'm feeling really good about this year, actually. I have a lot of talent on the team. There's a lot of things we're still working on, but we've only had a handful of practices. And
Sure.
It's travel. You don't get a lot of practice for your first tournament anyway.
Right.
It's a lot. They're very talented individuals, and they have a lot of skill. Now it's just getting them to mesh together into the right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we're working on. So I really think we're going to compete every tournament.
Yeah, we get first. That's all you can ask for. You got to be able to compete. You feel like you can do that. So
I don't think we're going to miss a gold bracket.
That's everybody's. Obviously, like I said, that's everybody's ultimate goal is to win every game. Obviously.
Yep.
So in all the tournaments, but everybody's got to have other goals. So Yeah, that's a good one. So going back, so what do you think some of your strengths could be? You know, like the impact on the court.
Yeah.
You know,
So what strengths did I find so
what
far?
early strengths have you seen from your players so far?
They are extremely competitive, and that is a great thing, and that is a terrible thing. But in this, I'm going to take it as a great thing. They're not going to give up. It doesn't matter what's going on, which, you know, will take you a long ways. Now it's just getting that competitiveness into togetherness. And I don't think that's going to be hard. They've meshed well together so far this season, and they've been defeated.
That's it. That's all you can ask for. And competitors,
if that's with each other or with other teams,
you know,
but that's always a good thing. They're pushing each other forward.
That's it. And, you know, teammates, good teammates, they're going to push each other. They're going to have a little scrap here or there. At the end of the day, they got each other back when you're playing the other team.
They
So
will.
that's the main thing. And in any sport, you know, especially like, you know, like volleyball, basketball and stuff, it's like a game of runs, I guess. So a team gets hot, you know, and then a team gets cold. So
You got to try to stay level.
you got to stay level. So you got to, if you got competitors, if you get down a couple points, 2 or 3 here or there, you know, good competitors are not going to hang their head. They're going to fight back.
Yeah.
So that's all you can really ask for. So you feel like that's what you're talking
That is
about,
what I
right?
got. They're not going to give up.
Right. So what tactical, technical area is the biggest priority of the team right now?
Right now is just learning where you need to be. Like I said earlier, they all have the technical skills. It's just putting those technical skills to use in the right places.
Right.
We're running some stuff that's a little more advanced than what they're used to running at their high schools. You know, it's a step up.
Right.
It is,
Right.
and there's capable people on the court, so why not push them to do that?
Right. Yeah. You want to strive. There's no use to stay like in quicksand or anything like that. You want to keep getting better. If you stay level, you're not getting better. Then what are you here for? You know what I mean?
And that's my job right now. Right now, I'm pretty much just trying to get them where they play is more important than anything else right now.
Right.
Where they need to be and when.
Be in the right place at the right time.
That's it.
You know,
That's our focus.
Right. So, how would you describe your match day coaching style for this age group?
Once they get to the match day, everything that they're going to learn, they would have learned, and you're not going to do much.
No.
You know. So the main thing that my focus is on match day is just keeping their energy up, keeping them focused, keeping them looking towards what they're trying to achieve, which of course is win the tournaments or run as far as they can in the tournaments. So that would be the match day. I can't say I'm not always a little one direction or the other, but that's my focus. So that's the main goal is to just keep them positive.
Right. Yeah. Any good coach, you know, your team. Your practice is your preparation.
Yes.
Okay. It's not you don't get into a game and you throw something brand new that they've never seen. I mean,
It's not gonna get you anywhere.
No, you might draw up a small little tweak here or there, but you're not going to change a whole system or a whole thing. So basically, everything you learn, you know, good coaches that I've seen in the past and learned from, you know, everything's happens in practice.
Yeah.
Your team, a good coach has your team prepared for about anything coming at you. You know, so
That's true.
So. You know, I'm assuming that's how you're saying it there. So
Pretty much.
That's how it sounds. So, okay. So, how do you plan to manage momentum, pressure, and decision making during your matches?
That's a lot easier, actually. I mean, they already know what to do. So all I have to do is reinforce. We went over this in practice. We went over this. We knew this was going to be coming at us at some point, and just keeping their head on that. As long as they don't think they're seeing new stuff, everything's going to be better.
Right.
Yeah. And that's all it is. Practice is what makes that easy.
That's it. Prepare. You just got to prepare for everything coming at you. Like I said,
And know that you're not going to be prepared for everything, and it's okay.
Not completely, no. So, like I said, you don't want them to look like a deer in headlights. You want them, like you said, you want to be saying, listen, yeah, it might look different in a certain spot, but we practice it, how we practice this is what will take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. So I'm assuming
And that's what's getting them in the right places is going to achieve. I won't have to worry about that.
correct. There you go. So what does a successful tournament look like beyond just your wins and your losses? Obviously, that's what everybody
Over the course
wants
of
to
the season or this specific tournament?
No, I'm gonna say over the season.
Okay. Near the beginning, it's just them all working together, and I want them to feel like they have improved week after week, and I want them to see that they've improved week after week, and just playing the game, working together, not getting mad at each other, keeping their heads up, and if they do that, they will win. It's just that simple.
Right. And they gotta have fun. You know, kids gotta have a little fun, energy about it. You can't be all uptight. Anybody knows you play sports, I'm sure. You know, if you're more uptight, you're more up to mess up as if you're a little loose.
Once you start making mistakes in that mindset,
it's just gonna domino. It's a domino effect, and then it's no fun.
You gotta keep everybody lifted.
That's it. So, you know. So, this goes into kind of the next question. How will you help your players stay composed, confident, and mentally strong?
Like I said earlier, I'm just going to keep on reminding them that you know what you're doing. Like, we've done this over and over and over. As long as you know where you're supposed to be, if you need reminded every now and then, that's okay, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But once you get that, everything falls into place.
Yeah, I feel it. That sounds good there. So, what are you personally looking forward to watching unfold with this group this season?
I am just ready to see them on the court with a team. Like, I know they can do it. I've seen them do it in practices. We scrimmage some in practices, but it's not the same.
Right.
I want to see them just play together, see how everything.
Yeah. Nothing. It's hard to. I mean, you can scrimmage, you know, together and stuff, but until you actually get in the game situation, you get the crowd. Get everybody screaming in there. You get your mommy's cheering. You get all that. Yeah, it's a different
atmosphere.
Yes, and that's what you practice for. You get into that atmosphere. So, I guess one of the final questions here coming up. You know, what tournament do you have coming up? Your first tournament. Where y'all heading to?
I'm heading to Bowling Green for our first tournament.
Bowling Green, Kentucky?
Yes, Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's a one-day tournament.
Yeah.
There's going to be quite a few teams there, though, so there's going to be a packed one-day tournament.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be good just to get, you know, everybody in the right mindset, get everybody rolling. This is a tournament that's outside of the USAV, so it's not necessarily counting towards a record and stuff. It's more of a
see what you got.
Kind of thing. We want to put them against competitive teams and see what I need to work on before our first.
And how quickly is that tournament coming? I mean, it's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, we have a tournament. It is January 3rd and 4th. The 16s, my team will play on the 4th.
Yeah.
And we actually have a tournament in Lexington next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah,
it's
back to back.
This is really just, we got to see what's
on the bluegrass state.
Yeah.
We're going to run with the horses down there.
That's what we're doing.
That's what I'm saying. So, anyway, like I said, we want to wish you all the luck. Like I said, we should be talking to you and then some of your other players throughout the season. And hopefully everything's a good vibe and hopefully for a good positive outlook on your team. And hopefully come away with some wins and good character from your team. Yep, so
Until next time.
All right, man. See you. Yeah, I'm here, Mountain State Elite, 16U captain, Raylan Wheatley. Welcome to the club. This is your first season with the club, I'm assuming. Yeah. So what's your team? What's your vibe? What are you feeling from your teammates?
So far it's looking really good. Like, I think that we're gonna have a good season. Everyone seems to be really excited about tournaments coming up. They seem to be working well with each other.
Well, that's good. Is this your first season with any club, or have you played before the club, or?
I've never played travel, but I've played a lot of clubs and like school teams.
Yeah.
But I've never actually like played travel. It's a lot different feeling though.
I'd say it is. You got a little feeling, and I mean, I guess when you go to these tournaments, you know, there's a lot of different games going on at the same time. As a player, you know, when you play with just one game, you just hear one whistle. You're hearing a bunch of whistles blowing. So, how do you kind of figure out which whistle, or you just keep playing until they actually start waving down, or how do you determine which whistle just to stop on?
Well, I mean, you have to be paying attention to your refs a lot because they're the main focus of the game.
Right.
That's what you want to focus on.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
they also, just watching your teammates, everyone should be paying attention to like what everyone's doing, and you can pick up those type of cues whenever you're with your teammates.
So that's good. That's good. So you say y'all haven't had what 3 or 4 practices or something, 4 or 5, something like that, as a unit. So you feel like as a unit you're all meshing well together and gonna be able to maybe put some good runs together.
Yes, everyone is adapting really well to the positions they're being placed in. Especially when it's positions that they're not used to playing, people you're not used to playing with. But yes, I feel like everyone's working really well together.
Yeah, I always feel like any good coach, I've had to coach some sports and anything. A good coach makes all players feel kind of a little bit not so uncomfortable, but put them in not in their comfort zone, because you never know when you might need to plug them into a different spot.
And go.
I'm here again with Braylon Wheatley, the captain of the 16U team, where we was talking about your leadership and stuff. So, what going into this first tournament? We'll start with that. You're all playing 3, 4 hours, 5 hours away from home, but it's a one-day tournament. You got new teammates. So, what kind of leadership goals are you looking going into this first tournament, for your team?
I'd say setting a good mindset, having a positive environment, especially whenever everyone's trying to connect with each other, and making sure that everyone understands the difference between that this is like a growth experience. This is about the journey, not so much about winning or losing, and just being positive, really.
Right. And trying to grow together, trying to get better. Obviously, you feel for your teammates and you are getting better. Wins and losses usually take care of themselves if you're improving. So that's the way I feel. I don't know if everybody feels that way, but obviously if you're playing good, you're practicing good, good things will happen. You just got to keep plugging away, So what kind of strengths do you see developing with your team in this early season so far, like a practice?
Everyone seems to be adapting to the positions they're being thrown in. Nick likes to put them in positions they're not used to playing, and they're doing really good at reading where they're supposed to go, picking up on just the little things, which are really the big things.
Right, yes. Well, like you said, little things can cost you or make you a hero. So, like you said, your coach throws you into circumstances because he might have to do that in a game and he wants everybody to be prepared, So, the more positions you know, to me, you can say if somebody gets hurt or goes down, hey, plug them in and keep on trucking. So, and like college coaches or whatever, they can look at the same vibe as, hey, that girl, I'm going to recruit her because I can put her anywhere on this floor, and that's what you want. That's what you want.
Flexibility is something that's always really good too in any sport.
Yes. Like I said, if you can play any position, then they'll find if you're good, they'll find a place for you. So, like I said, that's one of the things I would recommend to anybody playing any kind of sport, on every position you can, because you never know. So.
And just being coachable in those positions.
Yes, you got to be coachable. You can't butt heads. You can't say, I don't want to do this. Why is the coach having me do this? You got to. They're having you do things for a reason. So you just got to trust the system, trust the process. That's just how it is. Like I said, I've heard that my whole life. I'm an old guy, and I'd say the same thing to my kids coming up.
It's a good statement.
It is, and it's a true statement. Like I said, does everybody take it to heart? No, but it is very true. So trust the process. It's a process for a reason. So how do you personally want to lead during your like stressful and high energy moments in your matches? How do you?
Well, I'd say staying calm. Communication is a huge thing that I think is useful for any type of situation. If things are communicated well, you have a lot of confusion. Trust gets mixed around. It's hard to perform under those type of circumstances. But I would say keeping engaged and just having communication is a big thing. I would say that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, you got to communicate with your teammates. Like the ball's in the air. Everybody's got to be communicating. Obviously, you don't want it to land while 2 people or 3 people looking at the ball. So, and that goes back. Like you're playing it on in a big, I guess like Coliseum. Well, it's not Coliseum. It's big gyms with like multiple floors. It's going to have all kinds of whistles blowing at the same time. So the communication thing could get kind of, with a whistle blowing off of another floor, your teammates might think it's your whistle. So I guess you all got to have some kind of communication. Hey, play till they wave us off. Don't if you have anything in doubt, you just keep playing. So I mean, I could see that happening. So. Like I said, communication is key. So, what area does the team need to sharpen up on before your first tournament? What do y'all need to work on the most before you? Like, you think your weakest thing right now?
I would say just getting to know it, like getting to see how everyone works together, especially with a lot of players that you've never played with.
Right.
Especially whenever you're playing position you haven't played, people you haven't played with, and a team you've never played with. It's just getting the timing down and seeing how everyone communicates how they
Right, yeah, like I said, it's all about communication, getting the team working together like a well-oiled machine type deal. So, it's you haven't played yet 4 or 5 practices, so it's kind of hard to get going that quick. So it's hard to mock like in-game situations in practice. I mean, you can do all you can, but till you actually get in the moment, get the crowd going, get your mamas in your pom-poms, get the popcorn eating, you don't know how everything can go. You know what I'm saying? So, and your vibes always seem to pick up when there's more energy. There's energy in the building. You know what I mean? So it's all going to change. So how do you handle you as a captain? Okay, I'm sure there's gonna be some conflict and stuff between teammates and stuff. With your competitors, that's gonna happen. So as a captain, how do you handle the conflict and accountability with the tough conversations with the teammates? You know what I mean?
Well, mistakes are something that every team's gonna have. Everyone's gonna make them. And I think just separating the difference between taking responsibility for something and owning up for the entirety of the situation is something that a lot of teams struggle with. And I think if everyone's trying to build each other up and we're keeping the energy high and just having that mindset is already one step to overcoming those problems.
Right. Like anything else, if you're gonna have teammates that's gonna butt heads a little bit, but at the end of the day, if it's here behind closed doors, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's okay. But obviously, whenever you get out and against other teams, they're gonna probably have each other's back because if they have each other's back, then you're the real competitors and you're good to go. It is what it is. Been there, done that. It is what it is. So what do you want your team to expect from you as the captain? What do you want them to expect from you?
I want them to hope that I would lead by example. To hold myself accountable as well as them.
Right.
I also think that they would see me as someone who is a mentally tough platform for them to be able to build off of. And just to be a strong foundation.
Yeah, right. the games go up and down. So, you might be a nick and tuck game, and then the other team scored 2 or 3 quick points right there, and then, some of your teammates, they might want to hang their head or pout or something. But as a captain or something, like you said, you got to be mentally tough. You got to look at them and say, hey, we're still in this game. It's not over till it's over. And we can come back and win it. I mean, it might be 24 to 3, and that looks pretty bad. It looks really bad. But hey, you keep digging. You dig. So I'm here with Amanda Bowman. Right. So 14U coach, Mountain State Elite. Have you coached any before? Or?
I have not.
You have not?
I have not. This is our first year. I'm the first coach.
I got you. So, but as you've been around this organization for a year. Last year, was the first year in existence, so they did it. So you've seen some of what's going to happen, what can happen, and
Correct.
stuff. So you've got a little bit of a mindset going in to know, what can happen, what will happen, anywhere. You know how that goes. So that being said, you've got the 14U team. What kind of expectations do you have for your team going in for your first tournament? Obviously, goals. You want to.
Right. So these girls, a couple of them have played together before. Other than that, it's all pretty new for all of them as a team. So we'll take it one game at a time is the plan.
Right.
Hopefully work together as a team, call the ball, support each other.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Keep the vibe up. Any sport, any game, ups and downs. There's going to be a game of ups and downs. So, your team might get down 3 or 4 points. The main thing is you keep, you're still alive. Fight back.
Keep going.
That's all you can do, and that's what you expect as a coach, and that's probably going into the next thing I'm going to ask is what positive things have stood out during your first few weeks of practice with your team?
Each practice they improve tremendously. They're willing to work together. They support each other. Conditioning, we've increased the time each practice, and they're all willing to work harder to reach their goals, which is very impressive.
Yes, that's good. You definitely don't want players taking steps backwards. So if you're moving forward, you feel very confident and stuff like that. So that's what you ask for. So that going forward, what technical and strategic areas does your team need to focus on the most?
Basically trusting each other. If they call the ball, they have to trust that that person is going to get it and be there to back them up.
Yeah, that's always the main thing is get communication.
With new teams, it's rough.
Right, I hear you. That's what your captain just said is you're working on the defense, calling the ball and stuff. So you're on kind of the same page on there. So that's good. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So how would you describe what your coaching style would be during the match?
Encouraging. You need to encourage each other. We win as a team, but we also lose as a team. It's not just 1 or 2 people that cause those circumstances.
Right. Yeah, that's what everybody's got to get on. You can't have one of those persons that points their fingers at somebody all the time because that just brings the team down just like that.
Yes, it does.
So how do you plan to handle nerves, momentum swings, the pressures? With this, you got teenage girls, so how do you manage them?
Well, luckily we have some very vocal teenage girls that are there to hype each other up, and we plan to do the same.
Right, that's good, that's for sure. So what? It's not just going into this tournament. I guess any tournament you're going in. What does a successful tournament look like for this team?
I mean, of course, winning is a successful tournament.
Right.
But there are other things that measure success. The way these girls play together, like I said earlier, trusting each other, calling the ball, improving your serving technique, just improvement is a successful tournament.
Yeah, that's how you got to look at it. You see if your team's building, staying together, staying positive. That's success right there in a lot of ways. Some people look at wins and losses, but you can be in tough tournaments and you might lose by a point each time,
Yeah.
and your record doesn't show that you was in every game. You know, so to me, you
Yeah.
know, you got to look at some stuff like that. You know, so how do you help your players stay confident and connected while they're on the court?
Honestly, these girls shouldn't have a problem with that. They do very well hyping each other up, adjusting each other if they're in the wrong spot, you know, helping them with the mistakes they make. But we'll just continue to encourage. You know, we celebrate the wins, but we also celebrate the losses.
Right, it is what it is, and like any good teams and good stuff, even when you win, you still find stuff to build on. You know, that's how you only get better. You know, so there's always room for improvement.
Yes, there is.
So, what are you personally excited to see from this group in their first time?
This is a small group of girls, so we only have 7,
Yeah.
which is new to all of them. Basically, we've always played with the libero, and we will not be doing that this year. So I'm excited to see them play together and succeed.
Right. So your first tournament is what, in a couple weeks?
Yeah.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, I think is what I heard. So, one-day tournament. Usually they're 2
It's
days.
usually 2, but we just play on Saturday.
I think it's just the ones what I heard.
Yeah.
So, you know, I ask the players, you know, you're not in your own bed. So you're in hotel rooms. Some games are 8 a.m. So how do you, I mean, as players, it's probably a little tougher, but as a coach, how do you get focused and ready in an early morning sleeping out in the road?
Well, I mean, the best thing to do, and last year it was very successful. Nick, luckily, all the girls will stay in the hotel. We all stay in the same hotel, and we bring games and activities to do in the lobby in the evening. So they have that team bonding time, and then they go to bed early.
Right.
Because once one goes to bed, they all go.
Right. Yeah.
So that is the big thing.
Yeah. You got to keep them. You got to get the good, nice rest because you got to get up. And I don't know how close some of the hotels are. I mean, they could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
about the average.
something like that. I mean, I can relate a little bit about travel sports. I have we played travel ball,
Yeah.
so I can relate to travel sports somewhat. And we've had to drive 45 minutes or an hour away from where we were staying, and an 8 a.m. game at hectic, having to get up
That
at
is
5:30 or something
That
in
is
the morning.
hectic.
So,
We do a lot of hair while they eat their breakfast to save some time,
right.
whatever it takes.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
Get the good breakfast in, get a good meal plan.
Yes.
Hydrate. Because y'all could play up to 4 or 5 games a day, something like that.
Yeah, and then you could go 3 sets each game.
Right.
So yeah,
It could be for a long day, and
it can be.
then another thing you can look at. I guess when you go to these tournaments, it's not just like you're at one gym and you hear one whistle blowing. You got multiple courts.
Yes.
So how do you try to prepare your team? Like, hey,
Unfortunately, I don't know there is a way to do that. I think it's one of those things. A lot of these girls have played in the past, so they know what they're walking into. And they know to continue to play until somebody says, "Hey, that
until
was
they kind
us."
of wave it off.
Yes.
Until they say that's your whistle.
Because that whistle is confusing.
It could. That's what I'm looking at. I could just see a ball come flying, your teammate getting ready to hit it,
And I've seen it happen.
and it land, and because they heard a whistle from another court, and it cost you.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen it happen.
So I mean, I know that could be confusing because like I said, whistles coming from everywhere. So, well, going into the season, like I said, wish you all the best, and looking to bring home some gold bracket. I mean, that and positive vibes.
Yes.
So I appreciate it. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here with Mount Sterling League with Addison Bowman here, 14U, right?
Yes.
So this your second season with the club.
Yes.
So how do you like the club?
I enjoy it a lot of good people involved.
Yeah, well, that's good. Did you learn a lot last season so you can build on this season?
Yes, a lot actually.
Yeah. How you feeling about going into this season coming up? How you feel about your teammates and your coaches and stuff that you have?
I absolutely love my coaches. My teammates are really new, but I feel like we're going to be a great team.
That's good. So you know, being nominated the captain, that's a special deal. That's a good goal to have, you know. So as a captain of any team, you know, you want to go into the season, you know, you gotta keep your teammates upbeat, no matter what's going on. You know, you gotta stay positive. So what's some of the things that you do towards your teammates? If someone, you know, messes up or something, what's something you could do or say or to them?
You gotta hype them up and like tell them that they'll get it next time, and you have to have a positive attitude so they'll stay positive in themselves.
Yeah. So you know, like I said, you know, tell them if they hang their head or something, they pick it up. It's over with. It's done. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we just move on, move forward. You know, any game, you know, like you said, it's a game of runs up and down. So I mean, if a team gets up big on points, you know, you don't give up. Cause I mean, if you still got life, you still got a chance. So that's the way I feel. You know. So going in. So what's some of your goals heading into the first tournament? I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say personal goal. Obviously the team goal, your team goal. Obviously, you want to win every game, win the tournament. But personal goal, what's some of your personal goals? What's your strength that you want to gather? You know.
Well, I started setting this year, so I want to work on my setting and get better at it.
Oh, that's good. You know, so you want to be able to set your teammates up so y'all can get a lot of points.
Yeah.
So that's good. So what's some of the strengths and improvements you've noticed in your teammates and your team in a whole?
We condition every practice, and we're doing really good at that, and not giving up is easy. And our communication is getting so much better.
That's good. You know, communication is key to any sport. You got to communicate with you know. I guess when the ball's in the air, you know, somebody's got to call for it. You know, because obviously you don't want it to land in between two people as you're looking at it, because you know, obviously that's not a good.
Yeah.
So yeah, communication is very key. So how do you see your leadership role on and off the court? How do you see it? Do you feel your teammates are taking to it to a liking? You think that they're going to lean on you a little bit, to look to you for a positive vibe or anything?
Yeah, I feel like they are going to.
Yeah, that's good. You know, that's you gotta have trust in your teammates. You know, they gotta trust you, so you gotta give them something to trust. You know? So that's a good thing. So that's a good feel is your teammates trusting you, so you can hype them up, pick them up, and move on. You know, so if this kind of goes back into that. So if you're say you got a ball game that's going back and forth, and then now it's starting to slip away a little bit, and the other team's starting to build a little momentum. What do you think you could do to help get your team back in it?
Hype them up and tell them that they're gonna come back in the game and not give up.
Yeah, just keep digging, keep pounding, and you know it's not over till it's over. So yeah, that's a good deal there. So we're going into the first tournament here in a couple of weeks. What specific area do you think you all need to grow the most? So basically, what do you think you all need to work on the most before you get to that tournament?
Probably our defense. Our defense is a little off right now, and we need to learn more what our positions are because it's our first time playing together, so we're not going to be used to it our first tournament. But I see it going good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like you said, your defense is always important in any sport. If you can't keep the other team from scoring, you can't lose. You know, that's my motto. Is always been defense. If like I said, don't let the other team score, I can't lose.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep working on your defense, and that'll be good there. So, how do you handle conflict and miscommunication between your teammates? So if they get together and they kind of argue a little bit between each other, which it could be a competitive thing, could be a good thing, a bad thing. It is, it is what it is. But how as a captain do you handle that?
I'll talk to them both before I go on one side. So I will talk to them both and get both sides of the problem and then come up with a solution to solve the problem.
Okay, yeah, that's good. You want to see from both angles maybe what's going on and try to meet in the middle and take care of it. Obviously you don't want to choose sides. You want to get in the middle, find out what's the problem before you jump to conclusions, and then hopefully everybody pans it out and works it out. So, yeah, that's good. So What do you want your teammates to expect from you as the captain?
I want them to expect that I'm not going to be the person that's going to put them down. I'm going to be the person that brings them up and never leaves them hanging.
Yeah, that's good. That you can't leave your teammate out there because they're definitely not. It's a trust issue. Once you do that, it's hard to get it back. So obviously, you want your teammates to trust you so they can look for you for leadership. You've been there before. You played in some games. They can look to you and say, hey, you got multiple courts going on here. They might have heard a whistle and it might not have been on your court and the ball landed. You might just say, hey, you play through and it is what it is. They'll let us know if it was ours or not.
Yeah.
So that could happen. I mean, I'm sure there's players here that's not played in that environment and playing in big buildings with a bunch of courts. I mean, that's different than just one court. So, and you've been there before, so hopefully your leadership can help, get your teammates ready to roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, from the fact of obviously team goals are obviously to win. You try to win some tournaments, bingo brackets, and all that. So, what would be like a personal goal that you have for yourself going into this first tournament? With your new teammates, your own personal goal, not a team goal, but your own personal goal.
Just have a positive attitude the whole time.
Yeah, that's like I said, you're trying to get your team together, going into with a new team. So, like I said, you want to stay positive at all times. And like I said, you can't get down. You're not staying in your own bed. That's different. You're staying in a hotel room. So, that's a little different. You wake up and, a lot of times the games are, I guess, real early in the morning. So sometimes you're up. And how do you adapt to playing like an 8 a.m. game, after sleeping in a hotel room the night before? How do you get up? How do you prepare yourself to be ready to go at 8 a.m.?
I give myself about an hour to get up, but I get a good night's rest and a good eat before I go to bed. I don't swim and I don't sit in the hot tub the night before because hot tubs dehydrate you.
Yep.
And we need to just get a good night's rest and be ready to come in and play and eat a good breakfast.
Yeah, you always want to stay hydrated, get a good protein in you, and be ready to go, and then stay hydrated throughout the day. Because you play multiple games, 2 or 3, maybe 4 games a day. That's a lot of games. So it just keep your body ready to roll. So, well, like I said, that's about all the questions we have. Good luck to you and your team. Hopefully, y'all going to Bowling Green, or you bring back the gold bracket, and like I said, keep your vibes up with your teammates, and good things will happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here with Gabby Witt, team captain, Mountain State Elite 13U Volleyball Club. Gabby, welcome to the club. First and foremost, people want to know, is this your first year of club ball? Or?
This is my first year of club.
Yeah, have you played any on your school teams or anything like that?
I've played on Boyd County's team and the CK team.
Okay, so you got a little bit of experience coming in. 13U obviously in club. I think that they start at 12U, but when you get to 13U's, whenever everything starts really to get to the regulation size balls, nets, stuff like that. So this is kind of stepping stone for your whole team and you as well. So being a team captain, that's a big honor. Your coaches have to think highly of you, trust you. So that's a privilege and honor to have. You know what I'm saying? So your first tournament, it's coming up a couple weeks here. So what are you most excited about going into your first tournament? Everything going into a new environment. You mostly have like several floors going into a big. You just don't have one floor like in a gymnasium like you would around here, like in a high school or something. You're going to have multiple courts, and multiple games going on. So obviously that's going to be a challenge for not only you but your team. So you got to try to keep everybody focused on what's going on, because there's going to be whistles blowing all over the place, of course. So going into that environment and everything, what are you most excited about?
Most excited about playing with the new team and getting new
that's a good thing. You know, your teammates, everybody's new, everybody's gonna try to get together and gel together and stuff like that. So that's always the most challenging part going into a season with a new team, new players. You gotta learn your players and around us. So how would you describe like your personality and your energy, you know, of this team so far? Your teammates, how would you describe your team so far?
So far, we communicate pretty good, and we are pretty positive with each other, like telling each other to, like, you got this, keep going, and everything.
Yeah, positive vibes. You know, you got to stay positive. Obviously, your team. You know, there's gonna be ups and downs during a game. Any sport, you know, there's gonna be like a game of runs. You know, volleyball gets points. A team might score like 3 quick points on you. As a captain, you know, you got to try to keep your teammates' heads up, keep them motivated, because, like I said, the game's not over. Just because the team scores 3 quick ones and maybe gets up on you, that don't mean it's over. You know, you're still alive till it's over. You know, so if you're going to 25, it's 24-3. You're still not out. I mean, miracles happen, and they actually write stories about teams that come back. So I mean, you want to keep the team fighting and want to be part of that. So, you know, so what do you think you'll do? Do you think you'll do well as a leader for your teammates?
Yeah, I feel like I'll do pretty good, keep them positive and, like, calm and everything during games and tournaments.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is they need to look to the captain to be the leader, or if they think something's kind of they're questioning something, they might look to you and say, hey, what do you think? What should I, maybe I do? Along with your coaches, of course, but you're out on the floor. You can help a little bit as it's going on. You know what I'm saying? How will you, if your teammates are frustrated, getting nervous, how are you going to calm them down? How do you think you'll do well calming them down?
Remain calm myself, definitely, so that they know to stay calm, and remind them, like, what we do in practice, and, like, don't let it get them, like, stay positive about it.
Yeah, positive attitude, that's the main vibe there. So what is the one thing you want your team to focus on, you know, to get better right before a tournament? What's one of the things you want to focus on, you know, like, what's your weakness, your team weakness right now? What are you all looking to focus on the most at the moment?
We definitely need to communicate more and, like, tell each other when we're, like, going in, and, like, practice rotations and everything that we've been doing.
Right, yeah, communication really well. Ball's in the air, you don't want it to hit the floor in between 2 or 3 players, obviously, and that can happen. So, like I said, communication is very key. That's good. You know, you got to read your teammates and everything else. You know what I mean? So that's good. And that goes into the next thing is how do you plan to help your teammates communicate on the floor?
Definitely practice a lot more in practice, and, like, tell each other, like, we need to communicate with all the ball and everything else.
Yeah, like I said, that's a big key to the game of volleyball is communication. So what do you want your teammates to know about you as their captain?
I've only played volleyball for 2 years, and I guess that'll keep us positive and, like,
Right.
remain calm during everything.
Yeah, this captain's just got to be the leader and keep the vibe, you know what I mean? So what's something you personally want to improve on, you know, before you go into this first tournament? You got something personal you want to improve on?
Definitely calling the ball and getting in the air when I'm hitting the ball.
That's good. That's a good thing to practice on before you get going. So going into your first tournament, tournaments are usually, they're not at home. You know, they're usually a few hours on down the road and stuff like that. So you're not sleeping in your own bed. You're going to be in hotels. There might be some games at 8 a.m., which is very early. And you might play all day. So you're going into this, so it's going to be kind of new. So, I mean, you can think about it. So what some things you've been thinking about, what you're going to do to prepare yourself, prepare your body to be ready to take the grind through the day and the whole tournament.
Definitely, like, keep hydrated staying up late.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Get nice rest, get up, get a good breakfast, get some good protein, get some, good breakfast and, some fruit, something like that. As the day goes on, just stay hydrated, like you said, liquid IVs. I'm sure your coaches and stuff have stuff on hand, try to help you all and prepare you for it because they've been there before. So, that's the main thing. There's going to be a lot of games during the day. Like I said, big gyms that you're going to be in are going to have some reports. So, what's your coaches? What have they told you all about the whistles? If you hear whistles of some sort, have they said, if you think it's not yours or whatever, you keep playing maybe till they start waving to say, hey, it's not yours or anything? Have they talked about that in it at all yet?
A little bit. They told us that we just need to be aware of it.
Yeah, that can be confusing. Like you said, there's gonna be whistles blowing everywhere, and you don't want the whistle to blow on a court beside you, and everybody stop, and the ball lands, and it costs you a point or gives the other team a point, whatever. So obviously that's something to do. So anyway, I wish you the luck of the season, and I'll be talking to you again. I'm here with Scott Meadows, the 13U Mountain State Elite volleyball coach. Scott, welcome to the club. This is your second season with the club, I understand it. First year as the head coach.
Yes.
So, kind of going into this, what to kind of expect. So that's going to help your younger team here out a little bit, so you'll be able to lead them and tell them what to look for in these big atmospheres of there's multiple courts and everything, multiple whistles going on. So you've been there, you know how the refs, you might hear a whistle off another floor, and you just want to lead your team,
Correct.
Right. So
Yeah.
So your team, what's your main goals going into the first tournament? The first tournament going in, you've got a new team, you've got young players, they're trying to feel everything out. So, obviously the main goal for any team is to win all your games, win the tournament and all that. That's everybody's ultimate goal, and that should be everybody's goal. That's what you do it for.
Correct.
But what are some of the other goals you're looking for going in?
Mainly I want to see gold or silver. I would be happy with a silver bracket for the first tournament, not knowing nothing.
Right.
But been working with them, trying to get them communication. It's very important. Getting them to communicate, make sure they're in the right spots.
Right.
And it's a team, not individual. That's the main aspect right there, is getting them all to work together as a team.
Right. Like you said, communication is very key in the sport. The ball goes flying in the air. You don't want the ball to land in between three players. You got to get the ball back across the net so you can score. So, and that can very easily be done as players that doesn't communicate real well and still learning others. They might pull up and the ball land, and that's what obviously you don't want.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
What's some of the strengths you noticed in this new group so far in the few practices that you've had?
Their communication is a lot better. We're doing a lot better than we was starting out, but it's getting along very well. We have a very, very good front row. A good back row. We're going to be I think we'll be good overall. Most teams won't notice. We're going to have a front row and a back row, so we can attack from both angles, which makes it a lot better.
Yeah, that's good to have a strategy going in that you can do that. Like you said, you've seen teams before and tournaments before, so you know what you might be able to attack.
Correct.
Other teams for. So
Correct.
That's good. So what's one of the key skills and habits your team needs to focus on before the tournament?
I would say just to make sure you play, make sure they play as a team, not individual, and just working together, making it all
Right.
come together and working right.
Right, be where you're supposed to be, play your
Correct.
position,
Correct.
be where you want to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's a key in any sport. Be where you're supposed to be. Don't try to do too much and try to overstep.
Overplay and then not have your spot covered.
Right, yeah, that's a good deal there. So, this is your first head coaching deal, but you did help. So this is all you. So how would you describe your coaching style with the younger kids?
Well, I'm not as aggressive as the older ones where they're younger.
Right.
We try to hopefully get them from young and work with them all the way up and make them stronger each year.
Right.
But at this age, it's like I said, it's really communication, working together.
A lot more patience.
Right. You got to be, because it takes a while. I mean,
Right.
to get a 6'2", a 5'1",
Right.
knowing what to do.
Right, and a lot, like you said, a lot of these kids have never played before ever. So, and sometimes that's a good thing because now you don't they didn't learn the bad habits or they didn't learn something that you don't want them to know. You
Correct.
want them to learn your system. So
Correct.
that always helps out.
Correct.
So how do you plan to help your players manage the nerves and stuff going in, and especially these tournaments, especially early on because they haven't
Right.
seen it before?
Right. Well, that will be hard because they're going to be nervous.
Yes.
But I'm just going to have to guide through them everything we did, remind them everything we did in practice. That's what we worked for, so they know that I've been there and been through it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that will help them ease off till they understand that will take care of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to just do what you practice and stuff. And I guess I've coached a little bit, not volleyball, but I've coached some sports, and I found that sometimes you just got to make a joke at them and maybe
Right.
say, hey, just go out and play. Hey,
Right.
your mommies and them's over there with the pom-poms and the popcorn. Hey, you're all the show. Just go put it on, you know. Sometimes
Right.
you got to do something like that just to ease them
Ease
up.
them up to, not. Sometimes they think too much.
They
to
do.
ease them to make them
Right, they try
calm
too
back
hard.
down and they
Yeah.
can play. Yeah.
Right, and that's easy to do. You know, you start messing up, you try harder, and you know, if you mess up and you try too hard, you keep messing up, and it's a domino effect.
Right.
There you are. So,
Right.
yeah, we don't want that to happen. So, what does success look like for this young group going into tournament number one? What you kind of elaborated on it. You know.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I really want to see gold or silver. Of course, we always want to be gold bracket because if you're not in gold bracket, you can't win.
Right.
But if we're anything below silver, I'll be kind of disappointed because I know what I have.
Right.
And if we're, in my opinion, if we're below that, then we're messing up on our communications and not doing what we've been focusing on in practice.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there. So, like you said, you plan on, the next question is how do you plan to help them communicate during the matches? How do you help?
I just try to keep them calm, relax, you know what I'm saying? Keep all the distractions away from them, get it all out of their head. That don't pay no attention over there. This is your court. You need to watch yours. You know what I'm saying? Keep your focus
Right.
there.
I got you. So, what are you personally looking forward to seeing from them on game day? Like on game day itself, what are you personally looking for?
I'm just excited to see them come together because I know when they come together, they're going to be something special. I think it'll be really, really good when they get really on the same key, and you can't see that until the game, and you can't see it in practice.
Right. Yeah, you can't. You can only mock so much of a scrimmage or something
Right.
until it's really there.
Right.
You can't do it, and that goes into a little bit what I'm getting ready to go into is most your scrimmages and practices is in a gym with one floor, and you're going to be going into a place that's going to have multiple floors, multiple
Yeah.
whistles going on. So,
Yeah.
what do you tell your players as the game's going on? Their whistles are blowing, the crowd's going crazy everywhere. How do you try to, a new team that's not, these kids have never saw that before.
Right. Well, I figure it'll affect us some on our first tournament, but I'm hoping that they'll understand and figure it out, because it's very difficult with sounds going.
Right.
But I mean, you just gotta keep them relaxed and let them know that you can hear it, you can tell,
Yeah.
and they'll know what to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be.
Yeah, they're all the teams are the same age, so maybe they're in the same boat you are. Maybe they're all new and they hasn't been there. So hopefully it's on the the same playing field
Right.
there. So
Right.
that'll be good in that aspect. And like you said, you've been there before. I'm sure other coaches that's going to be there has probably been there before as well. So hopefully that's going to help. So another thing going in, it's going to be new for your club. You play several hours away from home, so you got hotels, you got sleeping. You're not sleeping in your own bed. So as a coach and stuff, what do you tell your players? How do you prepare them, because you play multiple games during days and maybe multiple days? So what do you have them do? Tell them to do to prepare their body for that grind.
Well, we do a lot of conditioning,
Right.
and it's very important, because they're used to coming out and playing one game if they do play with one team, just a set, and this you'll play two teams and then ref one and then jump right into another one.
Right.
So it's just, you gotta stay calm, clear your head, you know what I'm saying, and
Get a good night's rest.
Right.
You have them make sure they don't stay up too late. Get up, get a good breakfast, get some protein, get hydrated, get some fruit in you so you don't cramp up. And I'm sure you all keep liquid IVs and stuff like that on
we
hand.
have that all on hand.
So
yeah.
you'll tell them throughout the
Yeah.
day, hey, make sure you're staying hydrated. We got something coming on and all that. So it's gonna be a challenge for sure. But I think everything from what I'm hearing from you all, everything sounds good and looks good. So we appreciate it, and good luck first tournament.
Thank you.
Scott.